Logic sharp as a blade, wit faster than lightning. Ben Shapiro takes on the most controversial debates of our time, unraveling woke arguments with pinpoint precision and undeniable facts. In this electrifying journey through his best moments, watch as Shapiro leaves opponents speechless and audiences captivated with his unmatched mastery of the art of debate. Number 1. Student accuses Shapiro of racism.
So, for example, on the Israel-Palestine conflict, you called the Arabs. Yeah, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to presume. Yeah. So, you say.
I've written several full columns about it.
Yeah.
I've talked about how people don't read the follow-up tweets. I wrote a column.
I've read some of the tweets, and the tweets were just as bad. I mean, you say a lot of things that are just racist, right? But then if I call you a racist, then you defend it by saying I didn't read enough, right? So that's what I was going to say before.
So give me give me my racist tweets in context.
So you said the Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. It's not a difficult day. Well, you before that said Israelis like to build.
Did you? Okay, now the follow-ups, because you said the follow-ups didn't make it any better.
Well, there's separate things that you said.
No. I want the follow-ups to that one though.
Follow-ups to that specific.
Would you like me to
tweet?
get them? I'll get them.
If you have them, sure. But in the meantime, do you mind while you do that?
What was that?
Do you mind if I continue while you do that?
Well, I'd like to take them one by one. So
sure.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't we delay that one until the end while I look this up from the podium in front of 600 people?
You've also said. Okay. Given that
Well, I can be unbiased on the subject that the Palestinians have elected 3 terrorist governments to form a unity government with the stated goal of the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of all Jews in the area. So that I can be relatively unbiased. As far as the idea that the Palestinian population... As far as the idea that the Palestinian population is more evil than other populations, they certainly hold more evil views than other populations by poll statistics, by how many Palestinians approve of terror attacks, by how many Palestinians voted for an actual terror group, Hamas, and another actual terror group, Palestinian Authority, and another actual terror group, the Islamic Jihad. Okay, so I don't think that all views are equal, and I don't think that people who hold evil views are necessarily good. I mean, I'm sorry if the polls don't support the idea that everyone is equally wonderful, but everyone is not equally wonderful. Okay, ready? There are many, many Christian and Muslim Arabs who are wonderful people, just not the ones who oppose Israel in the Israel-Arab conflict. That would be the response within the same Twitter thread. Okay, in the post Israelis versus Arabs, I wrote about Arabs who take part in the Israeli-Arab conflict, as anyone who can read knows. #dumbasses. Okay. Quote, I think it has much more to do with the fact that the Palestinian leadership supported by the Palestinian population uses millions for terror. I should have been more specific. Arabs who actively seek Israel's destruction. Those would be the follow-up tweets. Does that sound like a genocidal mania to you, or does it sound like I'm specifically labeling a group of people who have called for Israel's destruction?
I like to point out that you're not a racist, but they're dumbasses, and you're allowed to insult them.
Yes, because if someone calls me a racist without evidence, they are definitionally a dumbass.
Imagine stepping into a debate and starting with a heavy accusation. That's what happened when a student accused Shapiro of racism over tweets about Arabs. Without missing a beat, Shapiro asked for the full context. When the student couldn't provide it, Shapiro clarified that his critique was aimed at individuals promoting terrorism, not an ethnic group. Number 2. Incident at the University of Wisconsin.
Let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are, okay? Because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So.
I'm 22, so I'm probably young and naive, right?
No. Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60? And why can't you identify as 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60? You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your sex. You can't magically change your age.
You can still legally change it. People recognize
You can't legally change your age, by the way.
Obviously, you can change your name, you can change your sex, you can change your identity.
Just because you can do things legally doesn't mean that they are correct biologically.
Can feelings truly alter reality? That's what this student suggested when they argued that personal emotions could redefine facts like age or gender. Shapiro fired back with a pointed question: if feelings could change gender, could they also change your age? The sheer simplicity of his logic left the audience stunned and showcased how emotional arguments often crumble under scrutiny. Another student tried to equate changing gender to changing age or even a name. Shapiro didn't let this one slide. He explained that while society can accommodate names in legal documents, biology operates on unchangeable rules. The student's argument quickly unraveled, and the moment became yet another example of how clarity trumps confusion. Number 3. Shapiro debates abortion ethics.
Conception through biology, pretty much. But I think you take the stance that life is intrinsically valuable because it's life. And that's where I disagree. I think there's two things that make life valuable. I think consciousness, the ability to experience pain, senses and stuff like that, and personal identity. In particular, psychological continuity identity. So the fact that we have memories, we have relationships, people have relationships to us. I think those are
Do you need both of those, or is it neither or? I just want to clarify your position.
Either or.
Okay, so if it's either or, then people with Alzheimer's have real continuity problems. You can't kill them.
No, because people still have relationships with them, though, right? So like just because you have like.
I mean, you have a relationship with them, but with people with advanced stage Alzheimer's, they really don't have a relationship.
Okay, but for the sake of example, like let's say someone dies, right? The family gets to decide what you do with the body. Because I know what you say. When you say someone says, "Oh, it's just consciousness," and then they're brain dead, you say, "Well, can you stab them?" It's the person's decision what they want to do.
So if the family decides to stab them, it's okay to stab the
when they're brain dead. Yeah, if they want to.
No, not brain dead. Let's say that you're comatose for a specifically and predictably short period of time, say 9 months.
Say now, well, what is the person? Yeah. No.
A student claimed that consciousness defines life's value, suggesting that without it, life isn't meaningful. Shapiro responded with a thought-provoking analogy: what about someone in a 9-month coma? Does their lack of consciousness justify ending their life? The room was left in awe as Shapiro connected the dots, forcing everyone to rethink their stance on this emotional issue. Number 4. Debate on identifying gender.
So here's my problem with that particular argument. The answer is that in 99.8%, 99.9% of cases, you absolutely can gender somebody based on looking at them. Like really, if you're going to use intersex people as an example of not being able to do that, this does not obviate the biological duality of sex upon which all progeneration is based for all of human history and for all mammalian species.
A student argued that gender is purely a spectrum and that appearances can't determine it. Shapiro took a firm stand, emphasizing that while expression might vary, biological sex is binary. His logical response left the student grasping for a counterpoint. Number 5. Debate on circumcision vs. medical transitioning.
You have claimed that you oppose medical transitioning for these children, namely and specifically to what normally happens is puberty blockers, which you called it child abuse. Is that correct?
It is. That's correct.
You consider it You consider it child abuse. You consider it child abuse because you believe that a child is not capable of consenting to what you consider are irreversible procedures. Is that correct?
A damaging, irreversible procedure.
Damaging. Okay. Are your children circumcised? Did you circumcise your children?
Yes, I have 2 sons and they're both circumcised.
Why would you do that? Isn't that kind of hypocritical?
I'm circumcised. My works just fine.
Why is violating the bodily autonomy of an infant acceptable to you? And I can say, I'm a owner, and I can tell you, there's sensitivity right there, Ben, that is removed when you do a circumcision. Why is that okay to you?
Well, I don't mean to get personal, but I'm sure it doesn't seem like you could possibly have a basis for comparison. You can't be both circumcised and uncircumcised. You're going to have to choose. As far as the efficacy of a once it's circumcised, if you wish to get into the biology, I'm perfectly happy to just point at my 4 children. I've been fruitful and I've multiplied. It's all working out just great.
What happens when 2 highly sensitive topics collide? A student accused Shapiro of hypocrisy, pointing out his support for circumcision while opposing gender surgeries for minors. Shapiro didn't flinch, explaining that circumcision is minimally invasive and widely practiced, unlike the irreversible consequences of puberty blockers or gender surgeries. These debates remind us of the value of reasoned discourse in a world often divided by ideology. Which moment resonated with you the most? If you love this breakdown of epic debates, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Who knows, your next favorite moment might be in the comments section below.